I don't expect people to like every decision I make. That's why there's an appellate process. So you keep saying, I object, I object, I object. I don't care.
Because, Your Honor, I object to
What
the
do
fact
you
that
not
calling it
understand?
an
Sir,
ORB.
your objections mean shit to me. So you keep saying, I object, I object, I object. I don't care. I don't care what you're objecting to. I'm going to hold you in contempt the next time you cut her off.
Well, I do object to the setting aside of my motion, Your Honor.
I'm not setting aside your motion. I'm denying your motion.
Well, denying. I object to the denying.
You can't object. You can appeal. Brother, why'd you just waste 5 minutes of my life? You got a motion filed?
Yeah, oh, yes, absolutely. I actually had issues to discuss before I crossed.
But the court reporter needs to take you up.
Here, you don't have to be at the podium, but at least have a seat at that table where that microphone is.
Threats, coercion, and I'm under duress. I'll cross.
You're under duress. How are you under duress?
Well, Your Honor, as stated in my motion, there's actually fraudulent word that since been signed by a judge. I have lawsuits filed on all of this stuff right now, which I know that they received.
Hold on, brother. Wait. I'm just asking you to have a seat at the chair with a microphone.
Oh, I understand that. I'll do it. Okay. The front check.
That's fine. Just make sure you talk into the microphone.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, you can sit down. Okay. So I think this is your motion to dismiss, right?
Yes, I have a few in there that I've been repeatedly trying to be dismissed.
Which one do you want to start with first?
Well, the recent one I filed, the motion to reject swearing in and all that, based off the fact that, like I said, I was sent a default motion that I don't know how it even got sent out past the day, but it was never signed or anything. I was also defaulted out the fact that there was a citation that never even presented a court appearance.
Okay, hold on. You're giving me too many issues. You're talking about swearing in. You're talking about a default judgment. Just pick one issue. We're going to deal with them one at a time. So what do you want to deal with first? You want to deal with the default?
Well, yeah, the default.
Okay, so was that on the civil infraction, failed to disclose the CPL?
I suppose that's what it was under, yes.
Okay, don't suppose, it's your motion, brother. Tell me what it is.
Well, it keeps getting
that's the only civil infraction.
I have numerous, I have lots of stuff.
Hold on, that's the only civil infraction I see with your name.
When did I get this? This says that, I don't think it specifies a date.
What, did you make a note when you received?
This told me, this said I don't remember exactly what date I received this in the mail, but this was scheduled for March 8th.
Okay.
So that was even less than a
But what is that's scheduled?
This says it was for my order, the motion affidavit saying that I was defaulted and saying that I needed to pay bond and an a warrant would be issued. And I said, again, that was never.
And that's dated what?
This was dated 3/8. And I needed to appear on or before 3/8.
Okay, so that was March 8th. You were defaulted February 22nd.
Okay. Which then, again, there was no dates. I had nothing. I had no notice of any sort of.
Once again, you're not hearing what I'm telling you. The monkey was on your back. The ticket clearly said you contact us. You never did.
And it also specifies right here, if you fail to appear by the date specified, and then on the bottom one, even for the other one, if you fail to answer a citation by date specified, there was no dates.
Okay.
There was no dates.
Okay. Do you have anything to add?
I do, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Mr. Crusoe brought this up when we were in front of the Honorable Judge Martin. She did set aside the default of a civil infraction, irregardless of whether or not he showed up.
Which I object to the setting
Sir,
aside.
do not interrupt the lady. Did she interrupt you?
No.
Then don't do that. Let's be civil. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Judge Green, Mr. Crusoe did bring it up again with the Honorable Judge Green, and she declined or denied his motion based on the fact that it was moot because the Judge Martin set it aside.
So the default's already been set aside?
Yes.
Brother, why'd you just waste 5 minutes of my life?
Since March 14th, Your Honor.
Which I object to that because they.
You object to your motion being
No, I
granted?
object to them setting aside my motion. And I object
No. Wait. Listen. She tells me Judge Martin set aside the default based on your motion.
Yes, but I was never told any of that prior to any of that.
So you want to argue about the fact that you got what you asked for?
No, what I'm saying is the fact that the due process was violated is what happened in this whole problem. When I was defaulted, due process was violated.
So what? She set it aside.
Listen, when Okay, it was set aside to cause damages to me because of what happened with the default.
Well, explain to me how you were damaged.
First off, there's threats made against me, right? Clearly he's threatening me to
No,
issue
no, no.
warrants,
I didn't ask you
threatening to
about
pay
threats.
money.
I said, how were you? You said you were damaged. I'm asking you, what was the damage?
But the fact that I was threatening to come in and pay money or warrants.
How was that damage?
And I was
Well, I don't know. Did she address the money?
No, she never did. No one did. I
Sir,
explained in my motion.
Sir, I'm going to hold you in contempt the next time you cut her off. The first contempt, $100. The second contempt, a day in jail. Are we clear on the ground rules for my courtroom? Is that a yes for the
Yes, Your
record?
Honor.
Okay. I'm giving you all the time you need to talk. Don't talk over her.
Okay, I understand. I'm sorry. There's just been a lot that's been going on with this.
And I'm the first time I'm seeing it, so I'm trying to get to the bottom of it.
You're right.
All right. So we started with what motion do you want to talk about first? You said your motion to set aside the default. That was granted by Judge Martin, is what I'm hearing from the prosecutor. So that motion's done. Would you agree?
As long as my money gets returned, then I guess it's taken
At some point, trust me, your money will either get applied or returned. Next motion you want to talk about.
The dismissal based off of fundamental violations of my fundamental rights and due process.
Okay, well, tell me more.
Okay.
Do you have, hold on, let me just cut to the chase. Do you have more than just the fact that you think you have a right to travel?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually,
That's denied. I'll just cut to the chase. That's denied. I don't buy into that argument. Now, you can appeal that decision to the circuit court. You understand how that works? District court decisions you can appeal.
absolutely.
Okay, hold on. I've denied that motion. We're not going to talk about that motion because I've denied it based on your argument that you have a right to travel and don't need a license. Is there anything else you want to hang your hat on for dismissal?
Well, I do object to the setting aside of my motion, Your Honor.
I'm not setting aside your motion. I'm denying your motion.
Well, denying. I object to the
You
denying.
can't
of my motion.
object. You can appeal.
Well, I'm just
Okay.
letting you know, I'm stating for the record that I am objecting to your denial of my appeal.
That's fine.
Okay.
Circuit court judges have bills to pay too, right? So you appeal me to the circuit court. Do you have any other argument why these cases should be dismissed?
Yes, absolutely. Well, honestly, Your Honor, like I said, I even have lawsuits. They've received my lawsuits to the Huron Township Police Department overall.
Hold on. I don't know anything about lawsuit. How would you suing the township work as a reason to dismiss these charges?
Because the initial traffic stop and everything was an unlawful stop from the get. I was
Okay, but that's got
retaliating.
nothing to do with your lawsuit. That might be the basis of your lawsuit. So you want to talk about whether or not
versus Ferguson, so long as the officer has probable cause to believe that a traffic violation has occurred or was occurring, on authority, the resulting stop is not unlawful and does not violate the Fourth Amendment. On authority of state law and township ordinance, a person shall not operate an ORV which is not registered upon a public highway, street, or right of way. On the date and time of the offense, the defendant operated an ORV which was not registered, specifically an ATV on Middlebelt Road, a public highway in Huron Township. Additionally, during the course of the investigatory stop, the defendant failed to provide a valid driver's license and failed to immediately disclose that he was a valid CPL holder and carrying a firearm, which is why he was cited.
All right.
Which
So,
I object to the.
hold on. All right. So the one misdemeanor is operate the ORV on the roadway, and the other one is fail to display a valid license.
That's
Okay.
correct.
All right. So that's her response to your argument. They didn't have probable cause. What's your reply to her response?
Well, I object to her terms of operate. There's no evidence that I was operating anything.
Okay, let me stop you. I killed that when I said the whole traveling thing doesn't go anywhere with me. Operating and traveling, as you define operating, or as you define traveling, we define it operating. So
Right.
hold on, I've already ruled on that issue. You can appeal that decision to the circuit court. We're not going to plow that field again. So now we're talking about probable cause. What I just heard was the township has an ordinance that says nobody can operate an ORV on a roadway. Would you agree that's an ordinance in the township?
Your Honor, I may agree.
Yes
with
or
that.
no? Mr.
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay, stop. If that's a valid argument or ordinance, and when I say valid, I don't mean if it's constitutional, if it's, stood the test of a challenge. I mean, if it's on the books, all right? If it's a valid ordinance and the officer sees you doing what that ordinance says you can't do, and he pulls you over, that's plenty of probable cause for the stop. So your motion to dismiss for lack of probable cause is also denied. Do you need me to clarify that ruling for your appeal reasons?
Yes, I actually, because Your Honor, I object to
What
the
do
fact
you
that
not
it's calling it
understand?
an
Sir,
ORV.
your objections mean shit to me, okay? I don't care what you're objecting to. I don't expect people to like every decision I make. That's why there's an appellate process. So you keep saying, I object, I object, I object. I don't care, all right? It's not helpful for today's process. My decision to deny your motion to dismiss based on lack of probable cause is because there was probable cause, because there was a clear ordinance on the books that the officer thought you were violating. That gives the officer a reason to stop you. Do you have any other reasons why you think these matters should be dismissed today?
Yes, absolutely. First off, they're trying to label my private property as an ORV. It was not an ORV, and it's not even technically an ORV. If you look up the definition of ORV, it is not an ORV. If you look up the definition of automobile or vehicle or any of that sense, that's what it falls under. It does not fall under an ORV. They're just trying to label it as an ORV is what is happening.
I'm not going to subject the jury to that. It would be a waste of their time. You understand that? All right. Now, and I'm not trying to talk you out of a jury trial. Believe it or not, I'm trying to save you from yourself right now. If you want to have a bench trial, I will be much more lenient with you not knowing what you're doing procedurally, because then it's just our time. But when it's a jury in here, I'm going to run the most efficient jury trial I can, and that means I'm going to treat you like you're an experienced lawyer and know all the rules.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
So if you decide, number one, that you don't want a jury trial, you want to do a bench trial, let me know long in advance of that date so we can save it for somebody else. Or two, if you want the assistance of an attorney, I will give you the ability to talk to one of our court-appointed attorneys and see if they can assist you in the manner you want to be assisted.
Okay.
Understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any questions?
Nope.
Anything else?
Not yet.
Have a nice day.